青や強がって飛び乗って風に流って青空昨日を越えろ
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talking Mons, our Digimon Adventure 2020 recap podcast. My name is JD, and joining me is my two good friends, Jeanette and Gary.
Hello.
Hi.
And today we are going to be talking about episode 11, titled "The Wolf Standing Up Top the Desert." You can only imagine what that entails. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that you can follow us on our Facebook, our Twitter, and join our Discord if you'd like to talk to us further after the show. Links for which are in the episode description. And if you're not already, we are available on most streaming services if you'd like to listen to us on the go. So Jeanette, you actually weren't on last week's episode. So if you want to just very briefly kind of give us your opinion on the last week's episode.
Oh, I hated it. Yeah. Let's just move on. Let's just not
you
talk
hated
about it.
You hated Metal Greymon's like epic entrance and just wiping Metal Tyrannomon out with like no effort.
Like the slideshow animation.
Yeah. All right.
Oh man, I hated it. And I was actually dreading this episode, but I actually really liked this episode. So I'm like, we'll just leave that one behind.
All right.
Move on this one.
I have the opposite reaction.
Yeah. I'm going to be pretty honest. I did not like this episode. Most of it is because it centers around Matt, and everyone listening to this show well knows my disdain for Matt as a character, but just...
See, go ahead.
I don't know. But basically this episode, picks up where the last episode left off. The kids have split off into their groups. I think Gary and I made predictions of how the groups were going to cut out. I don't remember what we said because time has lost all meaning.
Yeah, so long ago.
But so Mimi, Izzy, and Ty are off in one direction. They went off into a foresty area and kind of stumble upon some ruins. The episode kind of starts out with them finding that and then completely drops that storyline probably until next episode. We spend the rest of the episode with Matt, Sora, and Joe in the desert. They're just stumbling across the desert, and then they meet these tiny little fox things, which my wife found adorable.
Oh my god, they were so cute.
I want the plushie of that.
Right? And
I would be one if I was a Digimon. Like, totally. That would be me.
Which is really... So, this episode is weird because the Digimon they chose to feature here are all like Digimon that were prevalent in other seasons. In some way, in like weird unrelated ways. So like the little fox things I found out are like the evolve. I don't know did either of you guys watch the 5th season?
No.
Is that Frontier or Data Squad? Either way,
yeah, season 5 is Data Squad.
Either way, I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I don't like. I know of Data Squad, but there's one of the characters in them that has like this weasel partner, and apparently the fox turns into that weasel. Then you've got Nemon, who was like a major character in season 4. Labramon, who I think is a major character in one of the Tamers movies. I can't remember if his name is Kumamon or Bearmon. I don't know I think they might have gone back and forth on that, but he's like I think he's one of the major partners you can get in Digimon World 3.
Bear's hat.
Bear's hat. I love him.
Should just draw all three of us wearing that Bear's hat. That'd be amazing.
I want that Bear's hat. I'd wear that hat, even. And I'm not a hat person, but I'd wear that hat. But yeah, the Matt, Sora, and Joe are like traveling the desert, and they're attacked by these giant dragonflies. Apparently OP as shit.
Back, get down.
All they gotta do is just like vibrate a little bit, and a sandstorm appears. Like you do. And then they're attacked by a giant skull scorpion, which I don't know if it's just the fault of the translation. I mean, I'm watching this on Hulu, so I'd like to think that the subtitling is correct. But they kept referring it to as Scorpiomon. It is actually Skull Scorpiomon, and I feel like a huge nerd for having to make that correction.
Wait, was the audio also? I mean, how did?
I honestly don't remember what the actual characters were saying. The subtitles kept referring to it as Scorpiomon, and when they flash his name up, it says Scorpiomon. I'm like, Scorpiomon is a completely different thing. He looks like actual Scorpiomon. It looks like a weird, like, ancient bug thing. He showed up for a little bit. I think he was like Metal Seedgermon's crony in the first season.
Yeah, it looks like a silverfish looking thing.
Yeah. So this is a different Scorpiomon. He's Skull Scorpiomon, but whatever. So I guess we can get into it because that's like kind of the gist of this episode. This episode basically reaffirms why I hate Matt and why Matt is a dill. There's just a portion of this episode where like Matt is like hyper focused on the mission, and like Sora and Joe are like, these little dudes hanging out in a cave need our help. We should help them. And Matt's like, no. And then he pieces out for like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Well,
he's such a butthole.
He is, but I can kind of see where he's coming from, and that he's worried about anything holding up the mission because he wants to make sure his brother is safe. And I don't know. I thought he was better written than he was in the original series. Like when they gave that explanation, I was like, that's actually a little more tolerable than what he was in the original series.
Okay, so
like the motivation makes sense.
Okay, so I am fine with like, okay, Matt is like hyper focused on getting this done because he wants to get back to his brother. I get that. And I said this out loud while we were watching. As soon as he said like, I have a brother and our parents are divorced and I need to get back to him, and I'm like, Matt, you're not the only one with family, dude.
He's a total butthole. I'm not saying that.
No, like I was like just like yelling. Like my wife was rolling because I was yelling at the screen. But it's like, we've seen Ty's family and they're like, dealing with this blackout thing. Mimi's grandpa is like heading up the effort to like help people. And it's like, bro, you're not the only one with family being affected by this rolling blackout. So chill the fuck out.
I think he realized at the end though that he was a total butthole.
But and maybe that's why Where Garurumon showed up, because it's like,
yeah, isn't his crest like friendship?
Yeah,
his crest is friendship, and he has trouble like accepting help for anyone or working with others
because he's a gigantic gaping anus.
Sorry, I kind of liked him in this one. I liked him in this one, except I did think it was a total dillweed when these cute things were begging for help, and he's like, "Peace out, guys. Bye bye."
See, that's my problem. Like, I get like, yay. You learned that maybe you were being a butthole and came back. Also, I have a problem with him coming back and being the huge savior after he was a gigantic butthole.
But you know that was coming.
I knew it was coming. I still didn't like it. But yeah, it's just like these scared little creatures are like, hey, we can't do this thing. We'll die if we do it. And Matt's just like, sucks to be you. I got things to do, and he just pieces out because. And it's not so much that he pieces out, is that like Sora and Joe are like very adamant about staying, and he's like, "Nah, I'm good. I've got Gabumon. I'll be fine. See ya," and just ditches them basically.
See, I'd rather a character like start out as an asshole and then grow as a character and learn they were wrong. I can tolerate the initial assholeness, I think. Yeah.
I mean, look, if they redeem Matt's character and he becomes like one of the best characters, I'm all for it. Great, but every previous incarnation of Matt has tainted my my opinion of him, and this new version has not helped with it. So
I mean that's fair. But
yeah.
I mean, what I really liked about the episode was the fight between Garurumon and the Scorpiomon. Like, I thought that was cool.
Mhm.
I thought it was better done than like the Greymon and Metal Trayman or whatever that was. Metal Trayman one.
Yeah. It was longer at least.
Yeah, it was more interesting too. Like, Garurumon has some serious moves.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, Gary, go ahead.
Metal Greymon, there was more build up. Like I feel like that evolution was earned because there's a whole entire separate episode setting it up.
Well,
But this
even
episode.
sorry, keep going.
Well, I mean, I think I will have problems with the next few episodes as well, just because of how I feel like that their next evolution for most of them would be a little unearned compared to the original series, like with or without the search for the crest, which is at this point like they're probably gonna ignore this entire idea.
Yeah, I think after Metal Greymon showed up, I think the crests are just like they're built into the Digivice, and you need to like
It's just like
represent your emotion strongly to unlock it.
It's visual art style. I'll just like take it that, but just the motivation is just not really there. Like it just doesn't feel like Matt earned this compared to Ty.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get it. And I mean, I guess it might be a little easier for Ty because I feel like courage is like more of a easier thing to represent.
I'm ignoring the fact what the crest mean. I'm just focusing within how the evolution is.
Yeah, and I also agree because like you spend most of the last episode Greymon just plain like base Greymon is trying to take Metal Tyrannomon by himself. And like, he's holding his own for the most part, but he's still getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
But it's not till like he gets like Ty is basically just like, we have to protect everybody else. We can't lose here. We have to keep going. That's when Greymon gets the strength to finally evolve. And so I do agree with you, Gary, that like that felt way more earned than in this thing where it's like Matt and Gabumon pieced out for a while. Matt decided, I guess, on his own that he was being a butt. Came back to be the big hero. And then realized that like, hey, maybe I should be less of a dill hole to these people. And then he gets to get his evolution. So like, he gets the not as big of a dick as you could be award.
Like with time Metagramon, that is also personal as well. Like Metatyrannodon wronged them. He stole that fight. But here, like, there is no motivation behind why he came back. I mean, sure, it's a utilitarian motivation. He needs the whole team to get to the goal. But I feel like if they add in a little flashback with TK and his personality, maybe that is the motivation of why he should like learn a little bit from his little brother and help others. Like that would be a nice little thing to add to his motivation and why he needs to help them, like change his mind and help them instead.
Yeah,
don't have any of that.
Yeah, it basically he just comes back on his own for seemingly no reason. He just does. And sorry, go ahead.
I've kind of accepted that the Digimon Adventures 2020 is just a very uneven series, and I guess I just don't have that high of expectations for the writing. Just kind of how it is.
For the first couple of episodes, I was totally in that camp. But like once Ogremon started becoming more prevalent, and especially these last couple of episodes where they got to Nukon and had that fight in the fortress, Metal Tyrannomon chasing them for 2 episodes. Like I felt like they were finally hitting their pace, and I'm like, okay, like they're finally getting into their groove. They kind of understand these characters a little better now that everyone's together. And then to come back to this episode where it feels really uneven, I don't know. I came in with like maybe probably above like my standards were maybe a little high coming into this show, but then they kind of beat me down a little bit for the first couple episodes where the pacing was like way off. But they built that back up, and I, up until last episode, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm like really here for this show now. But with this episode, I'm just like, we're reverting back to this and kind of unexplained motives for things.
That's how anime do.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's just some failings of anime I just need to stop being an adult about, and I'm like,
well, especially this is a kids show, but still.
Yeah, and I think
that's my entire life. I should stop trying to like put so much critical thought into something that's made for 10-year-olds.
And I think and I think a lot of the disconnect is like I just didn't like last episode. If like last episode or not the Metal Greymon episode, if Metal Greymon episode had been awesome for me, then I probably would feel differently, but it wasn't.
Sure. I gotcha. I want to just say that I still think Wergurumon is still one of the weirdest evolutions of the main group.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Matt turned into a gay furry after that.
It just made me it like for the first time in my adult life, it made me question if Wergurumon has a dick. And what that dick might look like, and I didn't like having to think about that.
They're Digimon, they don't need any.
I don't know, man. Just by the virtue that they gave him pants, it makes like, why does he need jeans? Why does he need cut off jeans and brass knuckles?
I mean, Kumamon has his hat. It's just like fashion.
I guess.
Okay, that evolution sequence, that was a little weird because his arm came out from his chest. Or did I see it incorrectly? Because it doesn't look like his regular paw turned into the arm.
I don't remember, honestly.
I didn't really pay that much attention to it. It was kind of a blob to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know. It's just like Wergurumon. He has the pants. He has the piercings. There's like this furry energy to him that
no, like
the others don't have.
I'm not a furry, but I'm sure in some circles, like Wergurumon is like an idol to some furries, because like he's like, okay, Garurumon is like kind of this badass wolf. Now let's make him stand on his back leg, give him pants and piercings and brass knuckles and a shoulder pad, and he looks like he's gonna go go bruising up in a punk show. Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of furries that are into that.
The weird thing is his mega evolution goes back on its 4 legs.
Yes, that's the inconsistency I don't like. I don't care about him becoming a werewolf with pants. If his next evolution is a mecha wolf that he's standing up, right?
Look, I'm not gonna say that I look for consistency in Digimon evolution lines. You also have to remember that Gatomon turns into an angel that turns into a furry dragon.
Oh gosh, I do love the furry dragon.
Back to Digimon.
I hope she appears in the series.
I'm still waiting for TK Car to show up in this series.
Well,
at least in a more like prevalent way than just like being in flashbacks.
Well, I think that's what the build-up is too, because those two are totally the holy Digimon. And if they aren't, I will eat my hat.
Yeah. And I'm pretty I mean, they probably. Yeah. So I guess we'll see on that. But yeah, I mean, this episode's fine, I guess. I'm more interested in what's happening with Tai, Izzy, and Mimi that are gonna go into the room. Andromon's gonna show up. I love him.
Go ahead.
I love Andromon too, or however you say him. I love him too. He's great.
There is one good thing about this episode is that they foreshadow Leomon.
Yes!
And that possible army.
Yeah, apparently Leomon, they just make an offhand comment about, hey, Leomon's got like his own secret army off somewhere, and he's like leading the resistance. I'm like, I want to see resistance leader Leomon. I'm down for that.
I am so down for that.
I'm also waiting for them to introduce him only to kill him off.
Oh, Oh no! No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
no.
kind of
Leomon dies in every incarnation. That is his role.
I mean, true, but I was so sad when he died as a kid. I can't go through that again.
Now, which version of Leomon dying is more emotionally scarring? Is season 1 death or is season 3 death?
See, I didn't watch very much of season 3, although I've been told that if you watch the Japanese like subtitle version, it's amazing. So I don't know about that one.
I will say I don't prefer, but I think the Tamers Leomon death I think was handled a lot better, if only because it sets up the rest of the season of one of the characters going into a psychotic mental breakdown over it.
Yes, exactly.
Jerry turns into a fucking like unleashes this hell demon from her depression.
Mm-hmm.
I need to rewatch Tamers. That's some good shit.
I need to
Yeah, I
actually.
need to rewatch it sub. I like that. Always interests me.
Yeah, I've never watched. I've watched the first 2 seasons in Japanese. I've never watched Tamers. I should probably do that.
Yes.
Hey Hulu, give us the Japanese versions of it. Don't just give me the English dub. Come on.
Wait, it's not?
No,
I
Hulu English dub of the first 4 seasons.
I think VRV might have it.
Yeah, they might. But I don't have Verve. I only have Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have my big hospital money, so.
Eh. Yeah. But yeah, the next episode's looking interesting. Spoilers from the preview at the end of the episode. We're getting Lilymon next.
Also, the beginning of the episode with the little like info card.
Oh, yeah. So VRV does not have Digimon.
Come on, Verve, get your shit together.
So I don't know if it's just something you have to sail the seas, 7 seas for, but
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
But yep. Lilymon's showing up. Andromon's showing up. Should be a good time.
it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to mention about this episode though before we wrap up?
Nope, I'm good.
I just feel like that little like small segment with the Tai and his team is kind of pointless. I feel like it just
It's literally just set up for the next episode, which
It is set up for the next
they could have just cold cut to what Matt, Sora, and Joe are doing, and like then just jump into what Ty and the other ones are doing in the next episode. Like there really was no point to being there, but it's like I guess it was just established. Like okay, Ty and Izzy in this direction. Or now we're gonna show you what the other 3 are doing.
like at the very beginning part where they're climbing the cliff. If they put it at the end of this episode, and then
Yeah.
start with the clip at this end of the episode as the beginning of the next episode, that would be
Yeah, and as you say, I think it would. Yeah, it would work. It would work better if it was at the end of the episode instead of the beginning. But I don't know, man. I'm not an anime editor, so what do I know? Well, all right then. There you go, guys. There's our thoughts on episode 11. We'll be back again with episode 12 next week, and thankfully, finally updated the air dates for the next few episodes. So we have confirmed that we at least have up to episode 14 coming out. So there we go. Let us know in the comments on our YouTube page, or really any of our social media pages, what you thought of this episode or how you're feeling about this reboot in general. We always like to hear from you guys. And thank you guys for being on the podcast here with me. Everybody out there, stay safe, and we'll catch you all again next week with another episode.
Bye-bye.
see ya next week.